Hello, my dear students. Hello, my dear students. Welcome to IMS Gate Academy. I hope you are doing great with the GATE preparation. My dear students, I would like to give you some suggestions. As we are inching towards the GATE exam, smart revision is very important, students. See, students, when I call 3 mantras, how you can achieve the best GATE rank is, one is the formula sheet, second one is the smart revision of every subject, and the third important point is, please make a note of key pointers of the GATE exam. These are the 3 mantras where you can achieve the best, where you can practice and implement, and you can achieve the best rank. And my dear students, we at IMS Gate Academy want to say you proudly, we are offering the offline GATE coaching at Bangalore Jayanagar Center, and also we are offering the offline GATE coaching, and we are the only center who are offering the offline GATE coaching in Andhra Pradesh at Vijayawada near to the Benz Circle. So my dear students, you want to know what are the futures of the IMS Gate Academy? IMS Gate Academy has providing 800 plus hours of GATE coaching. Not only, sir, it is when you talk about civil engineering, you can talk about CSE, ECE, EEE, all the branches. We have an experienced faculty pool, and all the faculty pool are from NITs and IITs with an experience of more than 10 years. My dear students, in what are the subjects, what are the materials we provide at IMS Gate Academy is, we provide the exercise book, chapter-wise test, subject-wise test, advanced level test, multiple subject test, and also we provide all India mock tests. And remember, sir, we are coming with an excellent study material for on all the previous year GATE questions. It will be covering all the 30-year questions with the excellent key pointers, where these key pointers will help to revise the things. Now coming to the smart revision, my dear students, as we are inching towards the GATE exam, the intention here is within the stipulated time or within the short duration, we want to give you the best of the knowledge, sir. So my dear students, I don't want to waste your, sorry, 1 second, students, sorry. No, see students, I don't want to waste your time. So here what I would like to discuss here is, in the today's topic here is, see students, I would like to discuss about the geotechnical part 2, because I have given you already the insight of the entire topics related to the first 4 chapters about soil classification, and also I have given you index properties, properties of soil and all. So why I would like to tell you in this concept here is, my dear students, in geotechnical we have 10 to 12 marks. So how can you achieve this 10 to 12 marks? Easily means, my dear students, you have to prepare all the formula sheets, and these formula sheets should not exceed more than 10 pages. And whenever you are preparing a revision notes also, it should create a short notes of not more than 20 pages. Now let us go into the topic, students. Now here, I would like to discuss about the soil mechanics topic. In that, I would like to discuss about the concept soil classification. What, sir? I would like to discuss about the concept soil classification. Now, my dear students, when I talk about soil classification, sir, we have 2 important things, students. When I talk about the soil classification, we have 2 things. What are the 2 things? Can anyone tell me? One is the coarse grained particles, and other one is the fine grained particles. Now see students, how do we classify these soil particles? Let me tell you. See, if the percentage of soil retained on 75 micron sieve is more than 50%, then we call it as coarse grained soil. If the percentage of soil passing through 75 micron is more than 50%, then we call it as fine grained. Now let me go in detail of these, students. We have some organizations like Public Road Administration, American Association State Highways, Transport Officials, and Highway Research Board. Sir, if you see, all these organizations are related to roads. So they want to identify the soil which is best suited for payments. So they classified the soil into 7 groups. Are you getting, my dear students? There are some organizations like Public Road Administration, American Association State Highways Transport Officials, and Highway Research Board. All these organizations have come together and they have classified the soil into 7 groups, which is suitable for the pavement design. Now, these groups, when I talk about the 7 groups, what are the group names here is A1, A2 and so on up to A7 groups. There are 7 groups, means they have given the names A1, A2 and A7. Now, my dear students, which is the best group? Here I would like to tell you, smaller the group number, better is the soil for pavement. So they can give you, they can make a story in the gate question. Like these are some 7 groups, A3, A4 and A5, which is the best soil for pavement. So you remember that smaller the number, better is the soil for pavement. Now suppose if there is Sai or Swetanshu, they might get a soil A2 and A3. Okay, now they can ask me which is the best soil, A2 or A3, then definitely A2. But both have got A2, then which is the best soil? Now comes the concept of group index, sir. Sir, group index is a term. See students, group index is a term which is used to indicate the quality of the soil within the same group. What, sir? Group index is a term. Muskan answer, sir, student from of BSc Maths finally. You will for GATE in CSC. 1 second, student of BSc Mathematics final year eligible for GATE in. Muskan Ansari, see, when you are studying mathematics, but if you want to write CS branch, okay, if you should have an engineering background, I think. To be more clear, you have our contact number, sir. Please join in the Telegram group and I will be replying on that. As far as I know, you should have an engineering background to write computer science paper. But to have a better answer for that and to explain you clearly, please join our Telegram group and I will go through the entire notification once again that other BSc students can write. But BSc Mathematics students, as of my knowledge, you cannot write, I think. Okay, sir? Now, group index is used to indicate the quality of the soil within the same group, sir. So here when I talk about group index, see, if you have A1, A2, A3, now within the quality of the, means it is a quantity which is used to indicate the quality of the soil within the same group. Now how do you classify the soil in group index is, how much percentage of soil is passing through 75 micron, and we have liquid limit, plastic limit. These are the terms. On basis of these, we are going to classify the quality of the soil within the same group. Now see students, we have Cascades. Okay, sir? Cascades has given soil classification system name airfield classification. What, sir? Airfield classification system. Or you can say airfield classification system was discovered by Cascades. Now, my dear students, if I talk about the Indian Standard Soil Classification System, Indian Standard Soil Classification System is derived from airfield classification system. Here it depends upon the airfield classification depends upon grain size distribution, or you can write it as particle size distribution, compressibility and plasticity characteristics. Sir, you can ask me, sir, why you are explaining the theory part also? Sir, nowadays in multiple select question, you should have an idea what are the assumptions and also on what basis they are classifying. So, airfield classification system is discovered by Cascades, and Indian Standard Soil Classification System is derived from airfield classification system. So, Indian soil classification system also depends on the same parameters, that is particle size distribution, compressibility and plasticity characteristics. Now, my dear students, let me tell you one important thing, sir. Here, if you talk about gravel, how do we represent gravel, sir? Gravel is represented by G, and sand, if sand is represented by S, and if you consider silt, silt is represented by M, and organic soils are represented by O, and clay is represented by C. Again, I am telling you, my dear students, based on the particle size, if you see here, if I draw the graph like this, if it is 2 micron, 75 micron, okay, and if it is 0.425 mm, and if I take it as 2 mm, and if it is 4.75 mm, and if I take it as 80 mm. So see students, all these are MMs, okay. Now below 2 micron we call it as clay, 2 micron to 75 micron it will be silt, 75 to 0.425 mm it is fine sand, and if it is 0.4 to 2 mm it is medium sand, and if it is 2 mm to 4.7 mm it is coarse sand, and 4.75 to 80 mm gravel, and if it is more than 80 mm it is cobble, and if it is more than 300 mm it is boulder. So actually my dear students, whenever you want to classify the soil, these ranges are very important my dear students. So that is the reason I have given you this insight. Now coming to the most important topic, sir, we have a topic called plasticity chart. Now my dear students, let me tell you how this plasticity chart has been drawn. Sir, obviously one more thing, see students, clay will have more plasticity, okay? Clay will have more plasticity. So here what I would like to tell you here is, so when I talk about plasticity, when liquid limit is less than or equal to 35, when liquid limit is less than or equal to 35 percentile, we call it as low compressibility. When liquid limit is less than or equal to 35, we call it as low compressible soils or low compressibility. When liquid limit is between 35 to 50, we call it as intermediate compressible. What, sir? When it is between 35 to 50, we call it as intermediate compressible. And remember my dear students, when liquid limit is more than 50 percentile, we call it as highly compressible. Sir, actually these values are important, and remember my dear students, if the above A line, because above A line means plasticity will be more, so definitely clay. Below A line, there can be an organic soil or it can be silt. So if you talk about the equation, so please go through this students. When liquid limit is less than or equal to 35, it is low compressible, 35 to 50 intermediate compressible, and more than 50 it is highly compressible. Now see students, what I would like to tell you is, if you talk about the A-line equation, what is the equation of A-line? If anyone asks you, what is the equation of A-line? So equation of A-line is nothing but what, sir? IP is equal to 0.73 into liquid limit minus 20 percentile. So this is the equation of A line, my dear students. So here what you have to do? Yeah, greater than 50 percentile. Very good answer, Arvind. Very good answer, Arvind. Now see students, suppose if I have seen the graph, sir, see, very good answer, Arvind. If I seen the graph, a graph is drawn between, if a graph is drawn between plasticity index IP, and if a graph is drawn between liquid limit WL, okay sir, if you see the A-line chart, it will be somewhere like this. So here see students, if you see the intercept, it is 20. So you have to maintain this value as 20. And now see students, I will draw the lines here. This will be equal to 35 and this will be equal to 50. Now see students, when the value is between 4 to 7, if I take this value as 4 and 7, here you will have the dual nature of the soil. That is, it will have both clayey nature and it will have silty nature. Very good answers by Arvind, sir. So see students, less than 35. So above A line we call it as clay. So I'll write C. Below A line it can be M or organic soil. M or organic soil. M or organic soil. So less than 35 you call it as low. Okay, so L. 35 to 50 it is intermediate. So I. More than 50 it is highly compressible. So actually my dear students, plasticity chart is helpful in classifying the soils. So how the soil, if suppose if they give you liquid limit as 40 percentile and plastic limit they will give you as 25 percentile. So what will be the IP value? WL minus 25, 40 minus 25 is 15 percentile. But if you calculate from the A-line equation, from the A-line equation you will have IP also. So IP is equal to what, sir? 0.73 into 40 minus 20. So if you calculate this, you will get around 14.66. So A-line is at 14.66. A-line location is at 14.66. But what is the value you got? 15. So 15 is above or below? 15 is above or below A-line, sir. So A-line is located at 14.66. IP is 15, which you have calculated from traditional method, that is WL minus WP. So from that it is more than that. So 15 will be somewhere here. So above A line means it will be clay. And remember, liquid limit is between 35 to 50. So the answer will be CI. Are you getting, my dear students? So again I would like to repeat here. What I would like to tell you is, first calculate the location of the A line. Very good answer, Arvind. The location of A line is 0.73 into liquid limit minus 20, and you got A line as 14.66. By traditional method, IP is equal to WL minus WP, you will get 15. So it is 15 is more than 14.6. So the answer will be C, not low. Why it is low? See, Arvind, you are wrong. Just check it up. Because here, what is the liquid limit value? Liquid limit value is 40 percentile. It is not 35. 40 is in between 35 and 50. So it is an intermediate compressible. I hope you are clear, Arvind. Okay. Now see, students, you can ask me one more thing, sir. Very good answer. Very good answer. One more thing you can ask me here is, sir, how do I differentiate organic soil and silt soil? Now the logic is simple. In case of organic soils, let me tell you, in case of organic soils, sir, what I would like to tell you here is, there are some specified tests. In organic test, first we have is the color test. Color of organic soils will be dark grey color or brown color. Second one is, the odor of the organic soil is very bad. And the third point I would like to tell you, my dear students, this is a very important point. Please listen, sir. The liquid limit after woven drying reduces by more than 25%, then we call it as organic soil. What, sir? If the liquid limit after woven drying reduces by more than by 25%, then we treat as organic soil. Liquid, okay, that is a very important test. Next, sir, see, when the fines, what do you mean by fines, sir? Fines is nothing but the percentage of soil passing through 75 micron. So when fines are less than 55 percentile, sir, see, when the fines are less than 5 percentile, we talk about either well-graded gravel or well-graded concept. And remember, sir, if the fines are more than 12 percentile, we talk about clayey or silty nature. Are you getting, my dear students? Clayey or silty nature. But when the fines are between 5 to 12 percentile and IP value between 4 to 7, you will have dual nature. What you will have, sir? You will have dual nature of the soil samples. Okay, and here I would like to tell you, suppose see, students, if they have given you silty sand, how do you represent, sir? What do you mean by silty sand? Silty sand means, indicates that sand composition is more than silt composition. Yes or no, sir? Silty sand says that sand composition is more than silt. So as you move towards the right, the composition increases. So first give priority to composition. So sand is represented by S and silt is represented by M. Suppose if they give you well-graded gravel. Suppose if they have given you well-graded gravel. Now, my dear students, if they ask you, what do you mean by well-graded gravel, if they ask you? Okay, very good, sir. So here well-graded, very good answer, Arvind. When you talk about well-graded gravel, it can be GW. Sir, this is also very good, sir. What I would like to tell you is, when fines are less than 5%, we talk about either well-graded or poorly graded. We will not talk about clay nature or silty nature. So let me go into the, sir, I will quickly revise the concept related to the soil classification. In 2 minutes, sir. See, students, Public Road Administration and Highway Research Board and American Association State Highways Transport Officials, they want to identify the soil which is best suitable for pavement. So they classified the soil into 7 groups, A1, A2 and A7. Smaller the group, better is the soil for pavement. But if the soils are of same group, then group index is used to indicate the quality of the soil within the same group. Group index is based on percentage of soil passing through 75 micron, liquid limit and plastic limit. When I talk about Casgradus, he has discovered one classification system called airfield classification system. Indian standard soil classification system is derived from airfield classification system. Indian standard soil classification depends upon particle size distribution, compressibility and plasticity characteristics. Here we have two types of soils. One is coarse grain and other one is fine grain. If the percentage of soil retained on 75 micron is more than 50%, then we call it as coarse grain. If the percentage of soil passing through 75 micron is more than 50%, then we call it as fine grain. Here clay is represented as C, and silt is represented by M, sand is represented by S, gravel is represented by G, organic soils are represented by O. When liquid limit is less than or equal to 35, we call it as low compressible. 35 to 50, intermediate compressible. More than 50, it is highly compressible. And we have the equation of A line, IP is equal to 0.73 into WL minus 20. If it is above A line, we call it as clay. If it is below A line, it can be organic or silt. Organic soils are identified by color test. Their color is dark gray color and order is bad order. And the liquid limit after oven drying, if it reduces by more than 25%, then we treat it as organic soils. And when I talk about when fines is less than 5%, we talk whether it is well graded gravel or poorly graded gravel. Similarly, when fines are between 5 to 12% and IP value 4 to 7, it indicates dual nature. When the IP value is more than 7 and not 7, when the fines are more than 12%, we talk about silty gravel or clayey gravel. And remember, my dear students, if they tell you some name like silty sand indicates that sand composition is more than silt, and how the naming convention has been given, I have told you. Now, my dear students, let me go into the next topic, that is permeability. Now see students, what do you mean by permeability? Suppose if you have a tank, if you open the wall, water will flow. If you close the wall, water will not flow. So permeability is nothing but a property through which the water will flow. So, or you can say it is the property of the soil which allows the passage of flow through it, is nothing but permeability. Now, my dear students, when you do say that it is highly permeable and when do you say that it is low permeable? A soil is said to be highly permeable if it has continuous voids. Why it has continuous voids? When the voids are continuous, it can easily flow. When the soil is having discontinuous voids, then it is said to be low permeable, and highly permeable soils are nothing but gravel and sand, and low permeable soils are clay and silt. Now, my dear students, when I talk about the permeability, we have a law called Darcy's law. And remember, my dear students, what does Darcy's law states is, Darcy's law, very good sir, very good Arvind. What does Darcy's law states is, Darcy's law states that velocity is proportional to hydraulic gradient. What sir? According to Darcy's law states that velocity is proportional to hydraulic gradient. So what do you mean by hydraulic gradient? Sir, see, suppose if you have a head here H1 and if you have a head H2 here, okay, this is the length of the flow. Hydraulic gradient is nothing but the loss of head per unit length. What is hydraulic gradient, sir? Hydraulic gradient is nothing but the loss of head per unit length. Very good. So, my dear students, if x is proportional to y, you will write x is equal to some constant into y, right? So, similarly here, v can be written as v is equal to I into k. So, this is the formula given by Darcy's law. And remember, my dear students, when I talk about the Darcy's law, here k is called as the coefficient of permeability, and the units of coefficient of permeability will be same as the units of velocity, because hydraulic gradient does not have any units, and Darcy's law is valid for laminar flow. Now, my dear students, when I talk about what are the factors affecting permeability, they can ask you, what are the factors affecting permeability? Now, if they ask you what are the factors affecting permeability, my dear students, I will tell you one equation, Amma. If you can tell me, if you can remember this equation, anything factors you can easily tell. Okay, k is equal to d10 square c into e cube by 1 plus e into gamma w upon mu. So, this equation will help you how to understand the factors affecting permeability. Sir, what do you mean by D10? D10 is nothing but effective size, or it is the size of the sieve where 10% of the soil particles are passing. So here, as effective size increases, by looking to the equation, it is directly proportional. So as effective size increases, permeability increases. What is C called? C is nothing but shape constant. And remember, sir, rounded particles are more permeable when compared to angular particles. Very good. Arvind, let me tell you, okay, when I talk about the C, shape factor, rounded particles are more permeable when compared to the angular particles. Now, see students, if the equation shows that K might be proportional to E square, if I take 1 plus E as E, approximately, E cube by E means, but practically this was proven wrong, sir. Why? Because permeability will be less. Permeability will be less in case of clay and silt, and permeability will be more in case of gravel and sand. This is a very important observation, Amma. Permeability will be more in gravel and sand where the void ratio is less, because permeability depends upon the size of the void. Because size of the void, the water will try to flow. If it does not depend on, means void ratio will never have, means actually if you talk about more the size, more the flow, less the size of the void, less the flow. So actually practically permeability is inversely proportional to the void ratio. But in terms of void ratio, if you see, but permeability more precisely talk about size of the void. It is not talking about the void volume or anything. Okay, sir, that is the reason. Next, permeability, sir, see here. Next one I would like to tell you. Permeability increases with increase in temperature with a decrease in viscosity. What, sir? Permeability increases with increase in temperature with a decrease in viscosity. How I will explain you. Suppose if you pour some oil on the floor, sir, to scatter the oil, it will take more time. But if you light the oil, if you heat the oil, it loses its viscous nature and the flow will be more. Are you getting, my dear students? Permeability. Are you following, my dear students? Permeability increases with increase in temperature with a decrease in viscosity. What I am telling you is, if I have taken an oil which has viscous in nature, now try to boil the oil, and if you pour the oil, whatever the oil which is means boiled, it will easily flow. So that is one of the other important factor. And another important thing is, permeability will be more for fully saturated soils when compared to partially saturated. Why? Because fully saturated means voids are completely filled with water. More the water, more the permeability. Less the water, less the permeability. Very good. Now my dear students, what are the tests? What are the tests to determine permeability? Now see students, what are the tests to determine permeability? First one we have is the constant head test. Now in constant head test, head is kept constant and discharge is measured, sir. Sir, it is very difficult to maintain the head constant in fine grained soils. That is the reason constant head test is suitable for only for coarse grain. Are you getting, my dear students? Why constant head is suitable for coarse grain is, it is very difficult to maintain the head constant for fine grained particles. And here constant head test Q is given by the formula Q is equal to A into I into K. So this is the formula. You know already continuity equation. Q is equal to AV, V is equal to IK. If you plug in those values, you will get discharge is equal to AIK. Next we have the next formula also we have is variable head test. In the name itself, it is variable head test. In the name itself, it is variable head test. When I talk about variable head test, what do you mean by variable head test, sir? The head is consistently changing, or that is the reason variable head test is also known as falling head test. Here this test is more suitable for fine grain, because see students, when you see the soil classification also, sedimentation analysis is done to classify the fine grain, because fine grain particles will settle, it will not settle immediately, because if you drop my pen, immediately it will fall down due to weight. But if they are very tiny particles, it will take some time to settle. So when I talk about variable head test, here it is very difficult to maintain the head constant, and anyhow it is the name itself it is. So it is given by the formula K is equal to AL by AT into AL by AT into ln of H1 by H2. This is the formula for coefficient of permeability. Now see students, what is A? Small a is the area of the standard pipe. L is the length and capital A is the area of the sample. T is the time taken for head. Suppose if the head is at H1 here and head H2 is sample is here. H1, if I take this one as H1 and if it is H2, time taken for head falling from H1 to H2 is nothing but T. And ln is natural log. If you want to remove the natural log, multiply with 2.303. Because some people might be confused. Sir, why you have not written 2.303? If I have written 2.303, then ln will become log to the base 10. Okay, sir? So this is the formula for variable head test. Constant head test is very suitable for coarse grain and variable head test is suitable for fine grained particles. Now see students, let me tell you, we have another things called horizontal permeability or permeability in parallel flow. What, sir? We have a formula called horizontal permeability or permeability in parallel flow. My dear students, if I talk about the horizontal permeability or permeability in parallel flow, see what are the conditions. Sir, most of the people will be worried about the formula, but here the conditions are very important. In parallel flow, in horizontal permeability or parallel flow, you should say that discharge will be summation. What, sir? Discharge will be summation between the layers of the soil, but head loss will be constant. Sir, these things will help you in solving the problem. So in horizontal permeability, discharge will be summation and horizontal head loss will be the same. Now if I talk about horizontal permeability, KH can be written as horizontal permeability is equal to sigma I is equal to 1 to n Zi Ki, where Z is the depth of the soil strata, upon sigma I is equal to 1 to n Zi. So remember, this is the formula for horizontal permeability. So you can simply write Z1 K1 plus Z2 K2 upon Z1 plus Z2 if I take two layers. So this is how the formula works for horizontal permeability. Similarly, sir, I might be fast in this session because by name itself it's a revision session. I am hoping that you people are aware of the knowledge. And when I talk about IMS Gate Academy, sir, the key success for IMS Gate Academy is mentorship session. We at IMS Gate Academy has a history of 45 years in the industry of coaching. So how it has achieved the success is they feel always they rate the success of the student as the success of the teacher and the organization. So we have providing a wonderful opportunity for the students, that is one-to-one mentorship. And in addition to this, any doubts posted in the doubt solving portal will be rectified within 24 hours of time. I'll give you some example. Like if you are a diploma student, you might be facing difficulty in mathematics. So we monitor the student. We'll give them a foundation course where he can revise and get back to the basics very well. Similarly, if a student who are coming with a preparation of MSET or JEE, they'll be very good in maths. They might be difficult in facing core topics. Then we will give you a separate foundation for core topics, how they can improve. So all these things, if you are a real GATE aspirant, then definitely visit our Jayanagar office. We have Rahman. He will be explaining all what are the features of IMS Gate Academy, and Rahman sir is the best person to explain you the entire features of IMS Gate Academy. So now let us go into the permeability of vertical flow. What, sir? Permeability in vertical flow. So when I talk about permeability in vertical flow, students, we can say permeability in perpendicular flow. In perpendicular flow, discharge will be constant. What, sir? In perpendicular flow, discharge will be constant. And remember, my dear students, head loss will be equal to summation. Head loss will be equal to what, sir? Summation. So you can understand here, discharge will be same and head loss will be summation in case of what, sir? Permeability in a vertical flow. Now when I talk about the vertical permeability, it is given by the formula sigma I is equal to 1 to n Zi by sigma I is equal to 1 to n Zi Ki. And this is the vertical flow, sir. Sir, see, with the conditions, these conditions actually people are trying to solve the problem. And remember, my dear students, whenever they ask you vertical flow or they can ask you perpendicular flow, then the formulas will be same. and you should know that in perpendicular flow, or you can say vertical flow, discharge will be same and head loss will be summation. These things you should be aware. And now, my dear students, you should understand that horizontal permeability is always greater than the vertical permeability. What, sir? You should always be aware of that. Horizontal permeability is always greater than the vertical permeability. And remember, my dear students, if I talk about the equivalent permeability, we have the equivalent permeability is nothing but KH into KV. So this is known as the equivalent permeability. Sir, KH is greater than KV means take the same values of Z1 and K1 and try to calculate horizontal permeability and vertical permeability. Whenever you have solved, mathematically also you can prove that horizontal permeability is always greater than the vertical permeability, and K equivalent is sigma K root H into KV. And my dear students, suppose we have another concept called seepage velocity. What, sir? Seepage velocity. Seepage velocity is given by the formula. Seepage velocity is given by the formula Vs is equal to velocity upon porosity. And you know, my dear students, the range of the porosity is always less than 1. So with this, you can say that seepage velocity is always greater than the actual velocity. Now, my dear students, with these formulas, we have seen very good questions in 2021 also. Suppose if you know Q is equal to what, sir? AIK. What you should be aware? V is equal to IK. Seepage velocity is equal to velocity upon N. Using these formulas, they have given 2021 one gate question, sir. So let me, very good, Arvind, very good. I really appreciate you, Arvind, and Vishweshwar for your valid inputs. And students, if you really feel that these sessions are helpful, you can share to your friends because it might help them also in gaining the knowledge on soil mechanics. Now quickly let me revise what do you mean by permeability. Permeability means it is the property of the soil which allows the passage of flow through it. A soil is said to be highly permeable if it has continuous voids. A soil is said to be low permeable if it has discontinuous voids. And what are the factors affecting permeability is, we have an equation K is equal to D10 square C into E cube by 1 plus E into gamma W upon mu. Effective size increases, permeability increases. Rounded particles are more permeable when compared to angular particles. Permeability increases with increase in temperature with a decrease in viscosity, and permeability will be more for coarse-grained particles when compared to fine-grained particles. Permeability for fully saturated is more when compared to partially saturated soils. And remember, students, we have different tests to determine the permeability. Permeability is determined by an instrument known as permeameter, and we have the constant head test. It is best suited for coarse-grained particles. Q is equal to AAK is the formula, and seepage velocity is velocity upon porosity. And remember, coefficient of percolation can also be taken as K upon porosity. And variable head test, K is equal to AL by 80 into ln of H by H1 by H2. And variable head test is suitable for fine grade. We have other tests like pumping in test, pumping out test, consolidation test data, capillarity test data and all. But all these tests are also again suitable for clays or coarse grade. And when I talk about the horizontal flow, permeability in a horizontal flow, discharge will be summation, head loss will be constant. Then KH is equal to sigma I is equal to 1 to n Ki Zi upon sigma Zi, and vertical permeability or perpendicular flow, discharge will be same and head loss will be summation. In that case, sigma I is equal to 1 Zi upon sigma Zi, I is equal to 1 to n Zi Ka. Horizontal permeability is always greater than vertical permeability, and equivalent permeability is nothing but the square root of horizontal permeability multiplied by the vertical permeability. So I hope you are clear with this. Now we have another concept of compaction. Sir, see, actually if you talk about voids, my dear students, if you talk about the voids, sir, if I talk about the voids, there are two voids. What are the two voids, sir? One is the air void, air we have, voids one we have is the air, and other one we have is the water. Sir, if you talk about removal of water, then it is consolidation. And if I talk about removal of air, then it is called compaction. So compaction means it is the removal of air from the voids under a short-term moving vibrating loads. Suppose if you do damping, similarly the air will come out and there will be some settlement. So what do you mean by compaction? It is the removal of air from the voids under short-term moving vibrating loads. Now see, students, we have compaction tests. We have compaction tests like Indian Standard Lightweight Test, or we call it as Indian Standard Proctor Test. Similarly, we have another test called Modified Proctor Test, or it is also called as Indian Standard Heavyweight Test. All these tests are to determine the, all these tests are done to determine the amount of compaction. Compaction tests are done to determine the amount of compaction. What do you mean by amount of compaction? It is nothing but the dry density. So compaction tests are done to determine the amount of compaction. And the next one we have is, it is also used to determine the OMC. OMC means what, sir? Anyone, my dear students? OMC is nothing but the optimum moisture content. What do you mean by OMC? Or it is the water content at which dry density is maximum. We call it as optimum moisture content. So what do you mean by compaction? It is the, very good, sir, very good, Arvind. It is the removal of air from the voids under a short-term moving vibrating loads. So compaction tests are done to determine the amount of the compaction and also to determine the OMC, that is the optimum moisture content. Now see students, when I talk about the Indian Standard Lightweight Test, or if I talk about the Standard Proctor Test, if I talk about Standard Proctor Test, there can be a effort asked, there can be a question, sir. Sir, see, in Standard Proctor Test, when I talk about the Standard Proctor Test, we have a cylindrical mold. In Standard Proctor Test, we have a cylindrical mold of 1 liter, and soil is, if you consider cylindrical mold, in this cylindrical mold, soil is arranged in 3 layers. Sir, what, sir? Soil is arranged in how many layers? Soil is arranged in 3 layers, and each layer is given how many number of blows? 25 number of blows have been given for each layer. And what is the hammer weight, sir? Hammer weight for each means when you are applying the blows, there should be hammer, right? Hammer weight will be 2.90 kg. And what do you mean by height of fall? Height of fall is equal to 31 centimeter. So see students, when I talk about Indian Standard Lightweight Test or Standard Proctor Test, soil is arranged in 3 layers and each layer is given 25 number of blows. Sir, this can be a question asked in GATE, sir. What is the compactive effectiveness of, modified Standard Proctor Test or Indian Standard Lightweight Test? They can ask you. Sir, see, whenever you are dropping a ball from a height, sir, 31 centimeter or 310 mm. Whenever you are dropping a ball from a height, it will be converted to potential energy. Similarly, if you are applying a blows, means that is nothing but a potential energy. So it is nothing but mass into gravity into height. So what is the weight of the hammer? It is nothing but 2.90 kg. And how many number of blows you are giving, sir? 25 number of blows are giving. And how many layers you are giving? 3 into 9.81 into height of fall is how much, sir? 31 centimeter. If you talk in meter, it will be 0.39. So it will be around how much, sir? If you solve this, you will get a value of what is the compactive effectiveness of modified Proctor Test is. If you solve this, you will get a value of 593.01 Newton meter. So actually I have given you the procedure, and but some people might have remembered this also. The compactive effectiveness of lightweight test or Standard Proctor Test is 593.01. Similarly, my dear students, when I talk about modified Proctor Test, when I talk about the modified Proctor Test, or next one, modified Proctor Test is also called as what, my dear students? Modified Proctor Test is also known as heavyweight test. Here soil is arranged in 5 layers. Okay. Here also cylindrical mold is how much, sir? Here also cylindrical mold will be 1 liter only, and each layer will be 25 number of blows. And height of fall here, height of fall will be 45 centimeter, and the weight of the hammer will be 4.90 kg. Okay. Now if you see what is the compactive effectiveness of modified Proctor Test will be 2703.88 Newton meter. Same formula, sir. mgh if you apply, it will be equal to how much? 2703 Newton. Yes. Yeah. Sir, here you can change, sir. Actually, I thought here it is 2.60 kg. Very good, Ammu. Very good. Very good, Arvind. Here also you can change, sir. Here it is 2.6 into 25. Very good, Arvind. But here see students, here it will be 4.90 kg, 45. Now if you see how many layers, sir? 5 layers. 5 layers into 25 number of blows. Weight of hammer is 4.9 kg into 9.81 into height of fall is 0.45. Now see students, if you solve this, you will get a value of 2703.88 Newton per meter. And remember, sir, this was the gate question. Comparative effectiveness of modified Proctor test is 4.55 times the comparative effectiveness of standard Proctor test. And remember, sir, if the soil retained on 4.75 mm is more than 20 percentile, in that case, the cylindrical mold of 1 liter will be increased to 2.25 liters. Are you getting my dear students? And the number of blows will be increased from 25 to 56. Are you following? Very good. So what are the factors affecting, sir, see, before going to the factors affecting compaction, you should have been aware of this diagram, sir. Okay. Sir, see, if I have drawn a graph between dry density and water content, see students, even at lower water content, you are seeing maximum dry density. So this is the advantage of modified Proctor test. If you talk about standard Proctor test, even at higher water content, you are getting lesser dry density. And this is known as zero air void line. So, my dear students, if you see practically nowadays no one is using SPT, sir. Everyone is using modified Proctor test in the field. If you consider highways or everywhere, people are using modified Proctor test only. And here, dry density is given by the formula, you know, 1 minus Na, where Na is the percentage of air voids into gamma W into G upon 1 plus water content into G. So, see students, what happens is, what are the factors affecting compaction? They can ask you. As water content increases, dry density increases, reaches a maximum value and then decreases. And another one is, more the comparative effectiveness, more the dry density. And similarly, pure sands don't have well-defined ONC. Sir, this point everyone will ask me in the offline class also. Pure sands don't have well-defined OMC. What is OMC? I told you. Optimum moisture content. Sir, see, here if you see, this point is called OMC of modified Proctor test and this is the OMC of standard Proctor test. What is OMC, sir? It is the water content at which the dry density is maximum. But if you see, pure sands don't have well-defined OMC means that the dry density and water content will be like this. You cannot examine where exactly the dry density is maximum. There can be various locations. That is the reason pure sands don't have well-defined OMC. Now, similarly, my dear students, if I talk about relative compaction, sir, if I talk about relative compaction, what do you mean by relative compaction? Relative compaction is nothing but dry density in the field by maximum dry density in the laboratory. Dry density in the field by maximum dry density in the laboratory into 100. This is nothing but relative compaction. Similarly, we have sheep foot rollers. Sir, we have different equipments. This was asked in one of the previous gate question in the match the following. Sheep foot rollers are useful for clays and pneumatic rollers are useful for both cohesive and non-cohesive soils. Vibrators are the best methods for sand for compaction. And if you know Proctor needle test, a needle is pushed into the soil for a depth of 7.5 centimeters and the penetration was and the resistance offered against penetration is measured. That is also known as we call it as Proctor needle test. So again I repeat the thing related to compaction. Amma. What do you mean by compaction? Means it is the removal of air from the voids under a short-term moving vibrating loads. Compaction is done to improve the shear strength, thereby improving the bearing capacity. We have different compaction tests are done to determine the amount of compaction and dry density. We have two tests. One is the standard Proctor test and another one is the modified Proctor test. When I talk about the standard Proctor test is also known as the Indian standard lightweight test. In Indian standard lightweight test, soil is arranged in 3 layers. Each layer is given 25 number of blows. Hammer weight is 2.60 kg. Height of fall is 31 centimeters. Comparative effectiveness is nothing but potential energy. If you calculate, you will get 593.01 Newton meter. When I talk about modified Proctor test or Indian standard heavyweight test, you have to understand that soil is arranged in 5 layers and each layer is given 25 number of blows, and hammer weight is 4.90 kg, height of fall is 45. And here if I talk about the comparative effectiveness, the comparative effectiveness is 2703.88. The comparative effectiveness of modified Proctor test is 4.55 times the standard Proctor test. If the soil retained on 4.75 mm is more than 20%, that means the particle sizes are more. There will be less quantity if you fit in 1 liter. So that is the reason here mold capacity will be increased from 1 liter to 2.25 liters. And similarly, if you see the number of blows will be increased from 25 to 56. And if you see the factors affecting compaction, as comparative effectiveness increases, dry density increases. And as water content increases, dry density increases, reaches a maximum value parabola and then decreases. And pure sands don't have well-defined OMC. And remember, my dear students, sheep foot rollers are useful for cohesive soils, pneumatic rollers are useful for cohesive and cohesionless soils, and vibrators are useful best for sands. And what do you mean by relative compaction? It is the ratio of dry density in the field by maximum dry density into the laboratory into 100. So Proctor needle test means a needle is pushed into the soil, and if the soil is very hard, it will offer more resistance. If the soil is weak, it will offer less resistance. So this is all about compaction. I hope you have enjoyed this compaction topic. So let us move into the another important topic, that is consolidation. Sir, you can say, if you see in olden days, sir, when wells are not properly compacted, if you see Leaning Tower of Pisa, the main culprit is consolidation. Sir, for settlement, the main culprit is consolidation. So what do you mean by consolidation? Means we have 3 stages of consolidation. One is the initial consolidation, and other one is the primary consolidation, and other one we have is the secondary consolidation. What are the different stages of consolidation, sir? We have 3 stages of consolidation. One is the initial, and next one we have is the primary, and next one we have is the secondary consolidation. Now, my dear students, what do you mean by initial consolidation? It is the removal of water from the voids. And sir, what is actually consolidation? I will tell you. It is the removal of water from the voids under a steady, static, long-term pressure. I will tell you, compaction is a very quick process. Consolidation is a very slow process. Consolidation is something like creep. It's a long-term deflection under constant load. A building is sitting on a soil for years, then the settlement will happen. So consolidation is a time-taken process. That is the reason, my dear students, time is a very important factor in consolidation. Now coming to the various stages of consolidation, my dear students, and remember, let me tell you, we can expect a question from consolidation, sir, in GATE. Especially the question paper is from IISc Bangalore. So I am expecting 100% question from consolidation, sir. Because in IISc Bangalore, lot of work has been going on the research related to water. So consolidation will have a huge impact. So what do you mean by initial consolidation? Means initial consolidation is nothing but the removal of water. Though the meaning of consolidation is the removal of water, initial consolidation is the removal of air. You just apply the load, there will be some removal of air. When you talk about primary consolidation, the reduction in volume just after the application of load is nothing but primary consolidation. Secondary consolidation means, Arvind, are you following, sir? If you are following, please reply. What do you mean by secondary consolidation? Very important, sir. Secondary consolidation is nothing but secondary consolidation occurs only after primary consolidation is completed. Secondary consolidation occurs at constant effective stress. It is the removal of highly viscous water. Means there will be some water which is very viscous in nature. When you remove that water, there will be plastic readjustment. So, sir, how I will tell you? Suppose if you have some water, if you have blood, sir, if you remove from a syringe, there will be blood coming out. That is primary consolidation. But from primary consolidation, if you are trying to remove RBC, WBC, then it is secondary consolidation. Secondary consolidation occurs only after primary consolidation is completed. It is the removal of highly viscous water and plastic readjustment of soil particles. Secondary consolidation occurs at constant effective stress. It is proportional to the logarithm of time. Now, very, very important formulas I would like to tell you in consolidation. And this slide, Arvind, this slide I am expecting 100% gate question, Amma. If you have just go through this slide, very important, okay, as you are following from the first. So let me tell you, what do you mean by settlement here? Sir, what do you mean by settlement? Delta H is nothing but H into Cc upon 1 plus E naught into log 10 into sigma final upon sigma initial. What, sir? Sigma final upon sigma initial. So what do you mean by, immediately you will ask me, sir, what do you mean by delta H? Delta H is nothing but the settlement. Delta H is nothing but the settlement here. And H, sir, see, these terms are very, very important. H is nothing but the thickness of clay layer. H is not, sir, you cannot take, sir, if there is a soil strata, there can be sand of 5 meter and 5 meter of clay. So total depth cannot be taken as 10 meter. Total depth should be taken only the thickness of the clay. It should be taken as 5 meter. So H is nothing but the thickness of clay layer. What is H, sir? H is nothing but the thickness of the clay layer. Okay. Now, my dear students, what is E naught? Initial void ratio. And what is Cc? Cc is nothing but coefficient of compression index. It is given by the formula 0.009 into WL minus 10%. Sir, this is for undisturbed soil. And this formula is given by the Terzaghi's equation. So this is all. Now see, students, when you calculate a final effective stress will be calculated as initial effective stress plus delta sigma. Sir, how do you calculate delta sigma is load upon area, but you have to use the trapezoidal rule. That is like 2:1 distribution, sir. And remember, you have to calculate the effective stress at center of the clay layer. Where you have to calculate, sir? At center of the clay layer, and the load distribution should be 2:1. Okay, I'll show. If you have, I'll do one short on this formula, sir, because this year I'm expecting a question on this. Okay, now if I talk about MV, MV is nothing but what, sir? Coefficient of volume compressibility, delta H by H into delta sigma dash. So if you talk about settlement, settlement can also be written as MV into H into delta sigma dash. Okay, and next one we have is coefficient of compressibility. What do you mean by AB? Coefficient of compressibility. Coefficient of compressibility can be written as delta E upon delta sigma dash. And you know delta H by H can be written as delta E by 1 plus E naught. So see, students, from this MV can be written as AV upon 1 plus E naught. Okay, there is another important. What is MV, sir? MV is coefficient of volume compressibility. AV is coefficient of compressibility. And what will be the units, sir? Units will be meter square per kilonewton. Sir, again and again, just go through this slide for 1 second, sir. I'll be back. Now see, students, sorry for the interruption. Now see, students, we have the next one we have is, sir, this time factor we have. What do you mean by time factor is? Time factor is a function of degree of consolidation. What is time factor, sir? Time factor is a function of degree of consolidation. Sir, see, this is a very important term. How do you rate time factor? I'll tell you. Time factor TV is equal to CVT upon D square. Sir, if it is single drainage, you will take it as H. If it is double drainage, you will take it as H by 2. Okay. And you know coefficient of consolidation, it can be written as K upon MV into gamma W. Now see, students, time factor, if the degree of consolidation is less than 60, time factor will be equal to pi by 4 into mu percentile by 100 whole square. If time factor is more than 60, then time factor will be equal to 1.781 minus 0.933 into log 10 into 100 minus u percentile. So these are the formulas for time factor. So let me quickly revamp the entire thing, sir. What do you mean by consolidation? Consolidation is nothing but the removal of water under a steady static long-term pressure. It is a very slow process. We have different stages of consolidation. One is initial consolidation, primary consolidation and secondary consolidation. In initial consolidation, it is the removal of air. Don't think it is removal of water. Just applying the load, if you remove the air, then it is initial. Primary consolidation means it is the removal of water under a steady static long-term pressure. The reduction, okay, what do you mean by secondary consolidation means it occurs only when primary consolidation is completed. And secondary consolidation is nothing but the removal of highly viscous water and plastic readjustment of soil particles. It occurs at constant effective stress. It is proportional to the logarithm of time. It is Terzaghi's theory is not applicable for secondary consolidation. And if you talk about Terzaghi's piston model, we have Terzaghi's piston model, sir, something of this kind. We have a cylinder where cylinder will be cylinder will be voids and spring will be the soil particles. Stress on the spring will be the effective stress. Stress on water will be the pore water pressure. Here valve will be the permeability. And next thing what I would like to tell you here is coefficient of consolidation coefficient of compression index is given as 0.009 into log of sigma final upon sigma initial. 0.009 into WL minus 10%. Another formula for coefficient of compression index is it can be written as delta E upon log of sigma final upon sigma initial, because there is a graph drawn between void ratio and final stress. And you know the settlement formulas. The final, again I am writing, sir, see, just to revise for you, settlement mv into h into delta sigma. Delta h by h is equal to delta E upon 1 plus E naught. AV is equal to delta E by delta sigma. MV is equal to delta H by H into delta sigma. Or you can write AV upon 1 plus E naught. You can write time factor is equal to CVT upon D square. For single drainage it will be H, and for double drainage CV is equal to K upon MV into gamma W. CC is equal to 0.009 into WL minus 10%. And you can write here TV is equal to pi by 4 into U percentile into 100 whole square, or TV greater than 60. This is less than 60, sir. When mu is greater than 60, TV is equal to 1.781 minus 0.933 into log 10 into 100 minus U percent. Now, my dear students, it's my sincere advice, whenever you are preparing geotechnical consolidation, properties of soil, permeability, shallow foundation, deep foundation, all very important, and try to prepare that. And once again I am telling you, sir, if students are really interested, if the student has a keen to crack the GATE exam, then definitely join the Telegram group, sir. I'll be available in the Telegram group in the description. You can pin me by Sandeep Adari. And if you have any queries related to the roadmap for the GATE exam, as we are just having 20 days to the GATE exam, not even 20 days, I can say 15 days. So within 15 days, how best you can achieve the GATE rank, what should the methodology, how you can write the GATE exam, and what we have to understand what you have done, what is the preparation you have done. So for any queries, for any information, just join the Telegram group. Again, my dear students, let me tell you, we at IMS GATE Academy proudly say that we are offering the offline, remember the student, we are offering the offline GATE coaching at Jayanagar and offline GATE coaching at Vijayawada near Ben Circle. And remember, my dear students, we at IMS GATE Academy providing you the subject-wise material. And in addition to this, if you are aware of multiple select question, multiple choice question, NIT question, so we have a books called exercise book for every subject which covers level 1, level 2, level 3 questions. Apart from this, we also have GATE previous year question booklet where it covers 30 years of questions along with that key pointers. And remember, my dear students, we are giving one-to-one mentorship program, doubt solving sessions. And if you want to test yourself, we are providing the test series like chapter test, subject test, advanced level test, multiple subject test, and all India mock test. Then what are you waiting, sir? You will have the person by name Rahman in the Jayanagar office. Please contact him. You will get all the details of the GATE. And all the best for GATE 24, my dear students. If you really like this session, please share to your friends and join the Telegram group. All the best for GATE 24. Thank you. Bye-bye.